Welcome back to another episode of Prepper Talk Radio. We are live. I got Scott and Shane in the house. Myself, Paris Clough. We're here to talk to you about the wonderful world of prepping and self-reliance and being ready to go whenever anything comes at you. Today's episode, we're excited. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. And so if you are listening to the podcast later, or if you're listening to the replay, we go live every week. We try to do it every Wednesday night. This week was a little busy, so we're doing it tonight, Thursday night. So we appreciate everybody who's jumping on, who's live with us and answering questions. We love the comments. We love to hear from you and what you're doing and asking questions and just interacting with the fans and interacting with folks. So anyways, just want to kind of remind everybody to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. We're about 700 as of the recording. I think we're about 740, 735, somewhere in there.
734, yeah.
734 subscribers. So we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And then we're going to have a contest for those who are subscribed to the YouTube channel and in our Facebook group on Facebook. If you go to our Facebook page, Prepper Talk Radio, you'll click on, there's a button that says more, and then you click on groups. And then you'll go to our emergency prep and self-reliance group. So if you're a member of the group and you're YouTube subscribed, then you have a chance to win a Jase case. A Jase case is Jase Medical's version of antibiotic preparedness. And so it's a run of antibiotics just for you, tailored to your specific needs that you can use and put in your kit and put in your survival kit and your emergency preparedness kit. And also we have the opportunity to win a 5-ounce silver bar, and from Shane's exclusive stash. And he's going to send that out to whoever the winners are, or the winner is for that particular thing. If it's going to be a random number, we're going to go through, we're going to do a random generator, and somebody might win both, but we'll see. We definitely have a chance to win either a Jase case or a silver bar. So if you want to get your own Jase case anyways, go click the link in the description below, get your own Jase case. It's good to have a couple of them anyways. So we're super excited. This episode is going to be about what is a casual prepper? What is a modern prepper? And how do we move through the process of helping somebody who may be a little bit more casual get to a point where they can take it a little more seriously? So we're going to kind of make some definitions in the first part of this, defining what's a casual prepper, what's a modern prepper, and then maybe some tips and tricks that we can do to help get you into a more serious situation where self-reliance, and I hate to use the word prepper. Shane, Scott, we've talked about this before, haven't we? The word prepper's kind of got this weird kind of connotation, but we just want to help people be more self-reliant and more ready to go with whatever life throws at you. And that's being prepared. Be prepared is a great motto. And so we call it being a prepper, but you can call it just being prepared, and we're fine with that as well.
Well, there's like the other terms too. So there's like the casual prepper, there's the doomsday prepper, there's the homesteader, right? Then you got like the self-reliant guys that are like, no, I'm just self-reliant. And then you've got there's a new one I heard called they're survivalists. They're not worried. They're not afraid of anything. They're just focusing on thriving and everything. And I'm like, that kind of works. And then there's us, the Prepper Talk Radio. We are radio for the ready-minded, right? So the ready living or the ready-minded type focus. But like, okay, so what is a modern prepper? Like, what is a casual prepper, and how is that different from a modern prepper? So how would you define a casual prepper, Shane?
Oh, that is a good question. I mean,
know
that's
you're gonna
kind of a
moving
target. What's that? Say that again?
You're probably going to lose some friends defining this.
No, I do that all too often. You know, when you're as intense as I am, I can tend to, I guess, offend others, right? What, you're not as intense as I am? Well, then what are you even doing? You know, why even exist, right? And so I guess my debate is, does it? Well, because once you know the end, you know how to prepare for it. And I say that because we all believe in scriptures, we all believe in Revelation, that kind of stuff. So not to get into that, you know, we believe we have a good idea of where we're going, where this is all going to end up, and we believe it. And to get there is going to be pretty difficult, I think. I think it's going to be a long, difficult road. And so being casual at it, is that enough? You know, is that does it make sense to be casual at anything really? Except, I don't know. I don't have any good examples, but is it all or nothing? Is prepping all or nothing?
I don't know that
Right.
it has to be all or nothing, but like the casual prepper mindset is, to me, it's like they're like, well, I'll get around to that part, and I do this. I'll do this part. I got a bug out bag. I'm good. I'm done. That to me, that's like the casual prepper. Like, oh, I got a bug out bag. I'm done. And I'm like, yeah. Do you even know what a bug out bag's for? Like, do you even know that that's like the worst thing you could focus on? Like, oh man.
Unless you got a specific need for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's the homesteader, and then there's the modern prepper. I think those are maybe the two ends of the prepping spectrum, right? The casual prepper, and then the homesteader, or the homesteader is the true self-reliant
like
individual,
the
as much as
apex
you possibly can be. Yeah.
Like the pinnacle of prepping is you move into this kind of a homestead, whether you're urban homesteader, completely off-grid homestead, like, and there's even the back to the lander groups where they just go completely off-grid. They don't even do solar. Like, you could go that route.
And that's a lifetime pursuit. I mean, but anybody can be a casual prepper. And it's a means. It's a way to get started, I guess, a way to get warmed up into it, and then realize the things that are really happening around us, and learn a lot of truths, and then move on from there. But as long as you move on from the casual phase.
Yeah, I think there's an old saying that casual people become casualties. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, what am I in my life that I'm failing at? And if there's something that I want to do well, or if I want to have success, however you define it, if there's something that you really want to be good at, but you're just not, it's because there's some aspect of that recipe to get there that you're too casual with. And because of your casualness, your goals become casualties, and you don't arrive at where you want to go. And so to me, we've been lulled into this false sense of security and safety with all the different programs that we have in the government, with a supply chain that's been always so easy. I mean, literally, why should I prepare? I can just go to the grocery store and get it. I don't need to have a pantry. I can just go down to the market and grab it. I don't need to have tools and all that stuff. I can just rent it from Lowe's or Home Depot, or I'm not going to get into the argument about which one is better, guys. Come on, that was we had an argument a couple episodes ago about Lowe's versus Home Depot, right? But I'm telling you that the idea that we've created so much specialization, so much, honestly, just real modern conveniences, that we've gotten soft, and because of that softness, we don't think about the hard times that people had to go through. We don't think about the hard times that created our nation, the hard times that created our religions, the hard times that created the type of self-reliance that it takes to survive through civil wars and civil unrest and all the stuff that our founding fathers went through to make our country. We're literally living in the bask and glow of the bountiful beautifulness of all of those efforts. And there's a cycle in life. It literally happens I don't know how often, but it's happened several decades, where you have this struggle that creates this peace and prosperity. And then the peace and prosperity, gets to the point where we're indulgent and overindulgent, and we're too casual with life. And then we somehow shoot ourselves in the foot, and we go right back into that cycle of, now we have hard times again. And so that cycle has happened over centuries. You can see the cycle happening in across all kinds of cultures. So it's not like something we just made up. And it's definitely in the scriptures, and it's coming. We're at a place right now where there's so much convenience, so much just bountiful, it's wonderful in life, that we're about ready to get into that hard phase, and we need to be ready for it.
I was actually listening to a podcast today where they're talking about that, and there's an 80-year cycle, and in every 80-year cycle, there's 4 20-year generations. So they're saying a generation is 20 years. So but what's interesting is what was going on 80 years ago.
World War One, right?
1940.
Yeah, little over 80 years ago. So it's like we we're off a little bit. It's been pushed back, and they're like, yeah, you need to worry because this naturally occurs and has occurred every 80 years. So we're overdue. We're overdue.
Yep.
In that negative balance of the reset. Like hard men create better times or good times. Good times create weak men.
Well, and
weak men destroy everything. Right?
Yeah, I think it's an evolution. You start out casually, and as you have experience of time and age, you become, like for me, I refer back to evolution of prepping on a regular basis because that's the way I see myself. Is I've got an off-grid place, and I'm still working on it, and I'm working to become a homesteader. That's kind of my ultimate goal. It's still a long ways down the road, but only if you're trying to go through this evolution, not just getting stuck in the casual phase or maybe the doomsday phase. That's a phase as well. I think we all kind of go through those phases that we continue to move on to whatever is after homesteader. I don't know.
Zion.
Yeah, exactly. Zion is the next step after homesteader. But we were talking a bit about the modern prepper. I think the modern prepper and the casual preppers are the younger generations. They've got a hint of what's happening. They find it fun. They find it entertaining. It's a hobby, but hopefully it progresses from there.
I find a lot of the casual preppers go for the zombie gear.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that?
Yep.
Like, oh, the new zombie, black and green, lime green awesomeness. Oh, get the new crossbow because it was on Walking Dead. Oh, get this cool knife because it's a zombie slayer. So they get all that stuff because it's kind of the fun.
Yeah, we know one exception to that rule.
What's that?
We know one exception to that rule.
Oh, the lime green.
Yeah, we know his name, don't we?
None other than Mr. Stan Pruitt.
Yeah,
the legend himself. What's funny is Matchbox has made a knockoff of his T-Rex.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, guys.
That's awesome.
But like, if you guys want to see cool stuff, go see Stan Pruitt's.
He has a lot of fun with it, but he's also extremely serious. He's very. You can be both. You can be both, right?
He's on the edge of. I would say he's the hybrid prepper survivalist
/ homesteader
/ homesteader
because
he's got so many skills that most people in prepping don't have. Right. And he's actually homesteading. He's like worked his tail off. Like, dude is a professional guy. And he's worked his tail off to find time to do all of his adventuring around learning skills and things that will actually benefit his life.
He's not casual in anything. I don't know of anything he's casual in.
I think one of the big things that the casual prepper, modern prepper was born from is natural disasters. And I mean, those are kind of the obvious, if you will, things to prepare for. Like, I need a 3-day kit or a 4-day kit because if an earthquake hits or a flood hits, and we've seen so many natural disasters recently that a lot of people are like, oh, I need to have a kit. I need to have some preparedness. And the reality is that there's so much more to preparedness. It's a great introduction, but a lot of people think, well, I got my kit and I'm good to go. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no more than that. I can grab, if an earthquake hits or the flood hits, I can grab my stuff and go. Well, okay, that's a great start, but that's only a start. Like, you literally stepped on the first step of a stairway and you think you've made it to the top. And that's so the casual / modern prepper is somebody like you. I totally get the idea of, they've watched the zombie movies, they've seen the apocalyptic TV shows, and they're like, oh man, I watched this one where this tidal wave came, or I watched this one where the asteroid hit and the hero got this, that, and the other. I'm going to get that too, so I can be the hero when it happens in our day, or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, it's a good start.
They're a keyboard warrior, right?
Yeah. It's a great start, but it's something that you need to move from as you kind of expand your knowledge and you get to the point where you're like, wait a minute, this can become a whole lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, it's like you could be the armchair quarterback, right? That's a lot of people on the casual prepping side of things. They have this false belief that they can just bug out and be fine. Or they have this false belief that they can show up somewhere and everything's okay. Doomsday fantasy, right? It's the apocalyptic genre of books, like the dystopian. And I love dystopian books. Don't get me wrong; like they're highly entertaining. And my favorite is Angry American in his Going Home series, because he actually teaches you stuff. He sneaks lessons into the books, but it's a very dystopian view of things. Now, if you look at everything from a Christian centric view, we know that there's a great and terrible day coming. Terrible for the wicked because they choose not to repent. The righteous, or we have to become the 10 virgins, and not just the 10 virgins, the 5 wise virgins in the parable of the virgins. And it's like, you can't be casual and become wise.
Yeah, and Mike had a great comment here. Balance is that's the toughest thing for me. And like you said, the next step is financially prepared. Absolutely, you got your shelter, your water, your food, safety, and financial is absolutely next. It's still counting that the future is going to be there as we know it now, yet with the contingency that it's not. So, like you say, retirement plan. We've got to live life as it is, as we see it, as we know it, as we're experiencing it. Yet, look into what there could be, and that's a tough balance. That really is, and where to take that. It takes a lot of thought.
One of our church leaders said something to the effect of, we need to prepare for emergencies. We need to prepare for the day of the Lord, the second coming. We need to prepare for all these dooms, like the end of the world kind of things. But in preparing for those things, make sure you're still planting your apple tree. And I totally butchered the quote. Somebody out there probably knows it by heart and can rattle it off and put in the comments, please. They're way better than I did. But the idea there is that we know the scriptures. I believe the scriptures are true. The three of us believe the scriptures are true. We know that these calamities that it talks about in Matthew, I think 24, 25, somewhere, it talks about all the wars and the rumors of wars and the famines and the plagues that are coming to the earth before the Savior's return, before Jesus Christ returns again. We know all those things are happening, but we don't know when. The old adage is, there's neither the day nor the hour, no man knoweth, but God only knows that those times. And there's some nuances to that. I can actually preach a sermon on that whole situation. But the idea is that we don't know, so we still need to live as if we're going to have a normal life. And I was talking to my wife, and she's like, yeah, this is, I was talking about, we need more gold, and we need more silver, and, more food storage. She's like, yeah, but we also need retirement planning. We also need, what if he doesn't come in the next 20 years? What if it's 30? Well, we still need a plan to be a normal life. What if it's 40? What if it's our kids' generation where he actually comes? So live life, enjoy life, but also be prepared and be ready, so that if it did happen in your day, you were ready to go. And I believe it's going to happen in our day, by the way.
I do too. Those can all agree with each other. You can do each. And I guess, what I'm trying to say is that part of my financial preparedness is also my doomsday preparedness, right? I think it will work either way. And I think there are ways you can go about those types of things. Again, like with food storage and such, and having a not just call it a bug out, but it's the vacation house, right? So you use the right words, the right terminology to I guess appease the other half.
Honey, I'm getting you this really cool gift for Christmas.
That's right.
Oh yeah, what are you getting?
It's an AR-15.
I'm getting you a bug out. I mean, I'm getting you a she shed up in the mountains.
That's right.
Why do I need a she shed in the mountains? So that you can go on vacation and not have to worry about anything for up to a year with enough stuff stockpiled there to be okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the economy starts collapsing. The economy starts collapsing. There's no food on the shelves. Hey, remember that vacation home we talked about? Yeah, now's the perfect time to go and visit that vacation.
Right. That's right. Going to the vacation home.
I'm looking at cars right now, because it's time for me to get a new car. And when I say new car, I'm not talking like 2022 or 2023 newest model coming out. I'm talking like 1980 is where I'm really focusing my time.
You want something carbureted, don't you?
I want an old carbureted. I would love to get an old truck, 1960s, 1970s old truck. Problem is you don't have a back seat in most of those that's even remotely safe, right? So it's just the truck. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking at international scouts as well. I'm like, ooh, yeah, there's so many options. But I would love to get something carbureted and then put a hydrogen on demand system in there too, to increase the fuel efficiency, the longevity of how far I can go with it. And I'm like, this is one of the things I'm studying right now. I'm like really trying to get into it. I'm like, oh man, it's
So you're
not
saying
just a bug out vehicle, it's an everyday driver.
So you're saying there's a way to blend the modern prepper techniques and tactics with the outdoorsman, the what's the right word I'm looking for? The mountain
wilderness
man.
survival,
Right? Not that a mountain man would drive any vehicle, right?
But the bushcraft mega prep combine life. I don't know. I look at it and I go, man, there's got to be a way for me to have a vehicle that's going to be more resilient to what's going on in the world. All it's hardened against P naturally because it doesn't have anything electronic except for the radio, really. Anything I can't just fix. I want to be able to fix whatever I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, getting a new car kind of just
very troublesome.
It's very troublesome. I'm like, I look at all the things that can go wrong. Like the car I have right now is one of the best cars I've ever owned. My best car that I've ever owned was a 2000 Toyota 4Runner. And I kind of want to get another one of those too, but I'm like, oh man, the gas mileage on those is horrible. I'm like, is there room that I could make some modifications? There's a little bit of room, but there's not a lot of room in there. Like they don't give you much room in the engine bay. So I'm like, okay, what could I do? And so I'm going back to the goal of the older vehicles again, but it's like finding ways to take the things you need, repurposing something older to make better, to make what works for you, right? To fill the situation. And it's like mixing the best of all these worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like what I'm working on right now with my property. I've got the wood stove. You know, I've got grid power there, but I don't need it. You know, I'm designing the whole place so that I don't need to have it. You know,
another thing that I kind of want to talk about modern prepping is, rather than casual, I think if you want to be a real prepper, but you want to be a modern version of a real prepper, there's some people that are really smart, that are engineers, that have created some tools and some gear that really makes a lot more sense. Like, I don't know, right? One of our affiliate programs is the Fortress Clothing, for example. That's modern technology that's been used to create clothing that will keep you warm and dry and safe and protected, but it's modern engineering technology used to do that. We have the pump that we at the Be Prepared Expo. Another one of our affiliates is that a water pump. That's modern technology that's used to help us pump water out of the river, filter it, and get it into buckets that we can carry. So there's some definite power and some wisdom in having some of these newer technologies. Like, for example, 50, 100 years ago, did anybody ever know what a solar panel was or a battery bank for power? Like that to me is a smart modern prepper. Like I have a dual fuel generator now, finally, after years of convincing from the two of these guys.
And they make tri-fuel ones as well.
Right. Yeah. And so that's modern technology used to help in preparedness. I think that kind of modern prepper is a smart prepper. That's the kind of modern prepper. If you're going to be a modern prepper, that's the kind of prepper you want to be. Also, though, recognizing some of the old ways, some of the ability to have some of these old things, older ways are having some of those skills. Yep. It's so important to have the mix. It's Utah Mike talked about earlier about needs to be a balance. And I know he was talking about something particular there, but that's in life, just balance everything. You have a good, strong balance. I think that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, Paris, but to put the contrast between the two, having that kind of technology, solar panels and being able to have off-grid power and those kind of niceties and luxuries we're used to a nice pair of leather boots that there's really nothing like a good quality leather pair of boots. Modern technology has not been able to replicate it. Yeah, absolutely.
You can buy leather boots that can't be resold, and that's the problem. Like you've got to buy
You
boots.
got to
that
buy
can
real
be
boots. Got to buy real boots.
You know,
So there's
my
definitely a
favorite
balance of
boots that I've
blending.
ever had are my Keen hiking boots. Like I've had these boots. They're probably 7 years old, 8 years old now. My prior pair that I had, same exact boot, just different color. You can't resole these is the problem, but you can get 900 to 1,000 miles on them.
Wow.
Like they're solid, good boots. And I'm doing 5 to 10 miles a day on these boots, and in the snow, in the rain, in sleet. They're waterproof. Like they're awesome. Like getting things that last, buying 2 really good things and using one until it's completely toasted, right?
Mhm.
And then replacing it with the next one. And when you get the new one, you go buy another pair, right? As your backups. And it's like, if you do smart things, you buy the really good stuff that lasts, you're spending a lot less money over the long haul.
Absolutely.
Like
Value.
I buy
Buy a
shoes
value.
for $100 and they'll last me 6 months to a year, right? But I bought these boots for 215 that are almost, one pair lasted me almost a decade. Like that's, if you listeners, are you paying attention to that? Like sometimes it makes more sense to spend the extra 100 now, or spend the extra 50, or spend that 300, whatever, to get something that is really good that's going to last a long time. Like read the reviews. Don't be afraid to watch a lot of videos on something. If it's a more expensive purchase, do more homework on it.
Yeah.
Like don't
sure you're getting
waste
the
your
value.
time just watching TV all the time, or gaming, or spending your life in Call of Duty or whatever the big game is right now. Like get out of Roblox and get into life.
And once you've educated yourself, you can help others make a proper decision as well. I know Paris, you're looking to get a battery bank, solar generator, whatever you want to call it, here sometime in the near future. Man, there are so many units out there. It's confusing, isn't it? There's
It is.
so many things to choose from, and that's can be a tough decision, especially when you're going to spend a couple $1,000s. And I've got another neighbor who's looking to do the same thing, and I feel for them that it takes a lot of time, but it's also very valuable time spent. It's not a waste of time looking at like you say, video games and learning the different ways to make it through a game, and to learn the different routes and the different tools you need to. It is valuable information that you can pass on to others.
Well, it's like today we were talking at lunch, like about the lithium ion batteries and what the world is using right now. Oh, this technology is so great, blah, blah, blah. It's like destroying our world, right? And landfills are overflowed. Like the food waste, there's so much food waste in the world. Like we were talking about the different waste. And what's funny is I just learned about this yesterday. They've been making for a decade now hemp plant batteries.
I've been meaning to look that up there.
And they're more efficient, and it's basically it's cooked hemp. They cooked hemp bark turned into artificial graphene, and tons of research was done back in 2014 on how efficient these batteries are. But I'm like, you can grow your own batteries. Like you can learn how to and it's way better because it is truly recyclable. It doesn't destroy your environment. It's like there's so many benefits to it. I'm like, I need to do some research on this because this is quite fascinating. And a modern prepper would look at this and go, okay, it's healthier for the environment. It's something I need because I want to be able to power my electronics. Let me do some research.
Yeah.
Right. Let me
Modern
get educated
technology.
on this. And it's like, I'm super geeked out now. I'm like, oh, I got to learn about this. Do I want to go get that battery bank, or do I want to go get some
The hemp
batteries and learn how to cycle them? And like, what? And it's lighter weight. What? I'm like, this is
That's cool. I think another thing that we've talked about several times on the show is the difference between a casual prepper and a real prepper, or somebody who's more just wants making it a lifestyle and a habit of it. I went I went to a gun training, firearm training, and I actually shot my gun. I actually pulled the trigger. I actually felt the recoil. I actually have the muscles now, or at least started to develop the muscles for the things that I've seen on TV, the things that I've practiced in my video. You know, if you think that just because you are the top scorer on Call of Duty amongst all your buddies, that you're ready to take on that burglar when he home invades, think again, because what your mind, now it's important to have your mind right and to know kind of some things mentally, but until you can connect what you've learned, seen, watched with what you're actually done, that connection needs to be made. That's so powerful. Like Shane, you shared a couple of weeks ago that your son was telling you, "Oh, Dad, I watched you put up something and do drywall. I can do it."
Mhm.
Well, not really. Just because you watch something, I mean, YouTube is fantastic, and I love it. We love YouTube. In fact, you should subscribe to our channel on YouTube, frankly, while you're watching some do-it-yourself thing. But to do it yourself, watch a video and then go do it. Pause it, do it, pause it, do it, watch, pause, do it. And as you do it, you're gonna get that muscle memory that's required as a prepper. So watching a show, listening to the show, we love that you're listening. We love that you're watching us. But go out and make your lists. Go out and get together with your food storage. Make your storage. Make your plans. Make your goals. Set your goals for the new year. Go out and actually do it. It's the scriptures talk about that we need to be doers of the word, not hearers only. So that's a truth in casualness, is our hearers only. The people that are self-reliant and truly going to make it the survival are the ones that are the doers. Be a doer.
Amen.
I think that's the biggest depiction or difference is doing, right? Whether you're modern or doomsday or whatever in between, a homesteader, you're doing. A casual, well, I did a little, I'm done. Most of the time, right?
I thought about it.
Oh, piece of gear came out. Oh, I'll get it. And then they never actually do anything with it. But they're not learning new skills. They're not improving their life. They're not creating resilience in anything they're doing. And
They're not exercising that muscle like you're saying, Paris.
yeah. And it's like exercise that muscle and it'll improve your life. I mean, man,
it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, I'm going tonight. I have after we're recording, I'm going to go to my martial arts training course, and I've been, I don't know, 2 months, maybe like once a week for 2 months, and a couple of weeks I didn't. Thanksgiving was, so there was a couple misses, and I feel just from the little time I've done it in the last 2, maybe 3 months, I feel so much more confident that if I did get into a physical altercation, I'd at least be able to kind of handle myself significantly better than what I did before. Now, don't get me wrong. I watched every martial art movie. I've watched Ip Man 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've watched, John Wick 1, 2, 17, whatever. I've watched, Karate Kid. I've watched all these movies, but none of that is going to do me a dadgum bit of good until I actually physically learn how to, wax on or wax off. That was the key with Mr. Miyagi. What was it, Daniel-san or whatever? He was like, what is waxing on and waxing off going to do anything for me? It was the doing that actually gave him the muscle memory so he could learn the martial art faster. He could learn the skill faster. And it was not the watching.
Transferable skill too. Like it was a skill you could use across multiple places. I can use waxing my car as self-defense. This is phenomenal, right? I can paint a fence and not get hurt. Transferable skills.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That's a great comparison.
Like I can, if I'm in the backyard and I'm chasing my chickens, I'm getting in better shape. I'm creating agility, and eventually I'm catching food.
And they're getting exercise.
Like I can't remember which country it was, but they went and got 3 chickens for every household, and they spent like almost $800,000 and got 3 chickens for every household, and everybody had to keep and maintain 3 chickens. Well, it eliminated the entire egg market in that country. Now everyone has enough chickens to provide eggs for their whole household.
Wow.
But it also eliminated millions and millions of dollars of food waste every year going into landfills.
Really?
And they're like, the country is saving millions because of that landfill change. And it's like, wow. And if you're growing your own eggs, like if you've got chickens creating eggs for you, it's like now you're not having to worry about getting cartons and all this other stuff. Like there's so many benefits to that. It's like create simple things that reduce waste as well in life, right? Because part of
That's a good
prepping is
idea.
like use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without.
Amen.
Like that, my grandma had like preached that into me so hardcore that will never leave. But that's from the Depression, the Great Depression. Wasn't much great about it, but it taught people to use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. If you don't really need it, don't go buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just spend money because everyone else is spending money. Oh, my friend got a Tesla. I'm gonna get a Tesla. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need it? Use what you have. Wear it out. I wore out my Toyota 4Runner. Like, I wish I didn't, but I did. And so the next vehicle I get, I want to make sure I wear that out too, but I take care of it so it lasts longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. The older things you buy last longer. So the skills you acquire through life are going to help you last longer, which is what we modern preppers, we thrivalists, we ready-minded renegades of ready-mindedness. Like, we want to last as long as we can and just squeeze every enjoyment out of life that we possibly can.
Yeah. Something you've heard me say a million times is, look to the past to prepare for the future. So that's what I tend to do. So I do incorporate a lot of modern things into my systems. I mean, like these, like a power bank, a solar generator. They're pretty awesome, but who really knows how long that's going to work? And can you fix it? Can you service it? Is that going to be a weakness? Can you do without that? And so I do like the modern aspect of it, but I prefer to turn toward the old world more aspect and learn those skills and get those kinds of tools, which I believe, in my opinion, are going to be more reliable than the modern things, which tend to have obsolescence.
Have you guys heard of Dr. Parkinstine?
Parkinstine, no.
I've heard of Dr. Frankenstein.
No. Okay, this kid, his name is Parker Edmondson. He is weird, but awesome. Like, he is so awesome. He is like figured out Tesla's technologies, like old school electromagnetism and like all this other stuff, and is basically figured out how to pull energy right out of the air and pull energy right out of the ground and like take and make this coil that takes like this 12 volts that you're getting and turn it into thousands and thousands of volts. And then he can send it through air to somebody else's receiver. Like, all this stuff.
So when you say Tesla, you're talking about Nikola Tesla, not Elon Musk
like
Tesla. Got it.
Nikola. Like, holy crap, this kid. And like, he plays the piano phenomenally as well. Like, old timey. Like, oh my gosh, this kid, you guys need to go look.
Looks like he's on Instagram, right? That's what I'm seeing here. I see Instagram. I see.
Shoot me a link and I'll put it in the description.
They've like taken him down off every platform.
Facebook
keeps coming back. And the reason they take him off is because he's teaching you ways to get free energy, ways to do things, how to do things. And they're like, oh, he's dangerous. But is he though?
He needs to put out a post that says he's not feeling suicidal.
Just a young kid, yeah. But you have a great point there, Scott. Is there are ways you can take an alternator from a vehicle and create your own wind turbine, create your own electricity, right?
Right.
So yeah, just having those skills and basic know-how, upload it from the matrix now while you can.
Yeah. Take every video you guys find and download them off YouTube or whatever they are and put them on a hard drive and put that in your Faraday cage, guys. Like, that's your tip of the day. Like, that way you have those training videos somewhere. And if you can get transcribed copies of everything or books that go over stuff, build that library. Because, man, if the grid does disappear, have the information that you need. Like, have the resources, have the library.
So a casual prepper will say, why do I need to get a book when I can just have Google?
Exactly.
That's what a casual prepper will say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Don't be that guy, because when the grid goes down, he's going to be lost as all get out. Don't be the guy that says, why do I need to learn how to do a map? I got GPS.
Yep.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I just saw a short video this morning where this older guy talking about what is going to come before the Great Reset is the Great Disconnect. So disconnecting us from all this, right? So that we don't have a voice, we can't hear those voices, or have the information we need. So I think that'd be a good thing to talk about in the future. The great disconnect.
Absolutely.
That's good. Because it's true. I mean, if you're used to certain lifestyle and that lifestyle is taken from you, you're now totally in a place or state of confusion. That's exactly what in the ancient times, what the raiding force would come in, and they would take over, like Babylon, for example. This is what Babylon did to the Israelites over and over again. The Syrians did it. This is all throughout the Old Testament. They'd come in and they'd take over an area, and then they would take those people and they would move them to a new area to now live. So they had no familiarity. They had no idea where they were. They had no, they were way easier to become slaves. If you know where all the cool back places are and the back caves and the back valleys and the resources, you can escape, you can fight back. But if you're in a whole new area and you have no clue what to do, no idea where to get resources, no idea to have, skill sets, you're going to be taken over. You're going to be conquered like really quick.
And you don't know how you got in there, and you don't know how to get out. Like,
yeah, if all you know how to do is search on Google and search on your cell phone, and once they disconnect everything, you're gonna be lost and probably a casualty.
Maybe we just need to start going by the moniker Wolverines. We're not preppers anymore. We're Wolverines.
Wolverines.
And you guys probably recognize the movie that comes from,
right?
The original,
the OG.
The original, not the
duplicated Red Dawn, but the original. Like, get to where you know how to do things. I mean, they were creating. You don't have to know how to create bombs, but like they were creating things and building things and learning how to do things to fend off an invading army. Right? What are the invading armies in your life today? Learn how to fend those off. Yep. That's being true to it, right? That's being a Wolverine, not being a casual prepper who's just like, oh, if it happens, it happens. And, I'll just always Google whatever I need and I'm fine. And because they're the ones that's going to be coming to your door screaming, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And you're going to be like,
my phone's not working. What do I do now?
Sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah, that's my daughter, dude. My kids. Dad, why is my battery is dead? What do I do? You go outside and play? Like,
everyone needs to get as serious about prepping as millennials and younger have gotten about finding Wi-Fi.
Seriously.
They cannot live without it. You need to get to where you cannot live without prepping. Like, it needs to become part of your breathing process. That it just becomes who you are. Become a Wolverine.
Amen.
Nice. Awesome.
Not like Hugh Jackman.
Not with your knives out of your fists.
Yeah, not that kind of Wolverine.
I think the
either
preparedness
that
guy,
or a honey badger or Wolverine.
The preparedness guy gave a great analogy here. Casual is making your lifestyle primary and fitting prepping into it. More intense is more like making prepping primary and fitting your lifestyle around it, building your lifestyle around it. Actually, I would say both have pros and cons. I agree that both have pros and cons, because there are going to be some things that are going to be able to provide your survive for so long. Eventually though, if we believe what the scriptures say, everyone's going to have to be a prepper and build a lifestyle around it. Yeah. That's going to be where it's at. That's honestly, if you really think about God and his kingdom and what he really wants to provide for us, he wants us all to become leaders. He wants us all to be self-reliant. He wants us all to be sovereign. He wants us all to be kings. In fact, in Corinthians, it says that the spirit of liberty and the spirit of Christ are synonymous. So having the ability to have that liberty, he wants that for all of us. And so to take care of ourselves, there's a scripture that says, we need to be, we ought not to be commanded in all things. We need to be anxiously engaged in good causes ourselves and not be commanded in everything, and not have somebody telling us what to do. We need to already know what to do and become self-reliant and build and have a life that is self-reliant and knowing and understanding how to become sovereign and liberty-minded. So with that, I want to, we'll close this off. This episode is 45 minutes or so. So thank you so much for being with us. So thanks for those that are on the live. Utah Mike, the preparedness guy. I don't know if Emmett Horton's still on, but these are some of the folks that have been on the live making comments. Thank you so much for being with us. Anybody else that was on the live that didn't make a comment, thank you as well for being on with us and sharing the last 45 minutes with us. So really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Make sure to hit the like button if you're on Facebook, and join our Facebook group. so that you can get into the running for the contest we're going to have as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to win a Jase case and or a 5-ounce silver bar. So really take the time, guys, especially during the season where we're coming to the close of a year and we're coming to a new beginning with a new year. Take some time to really ponder and consider, what kind of a person do you want to be? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? You want to be self-reliant? Do you want to be somebody that's really going to go into the future with that mentality and that attitude that no matter what life throws me, I'll be able to handle it. And I'm going to develop the skills to do that. And always make sure that you are focusing in on God, family, and country, and that you're consistently working towards becoming and staying and being ready-minded at all times. With that, guys, thanks so much for being with us. And Scott, Shane, and Paris, we're signing off. We'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.